Good morning
Good
to
morning.
you. Let's start then, shall we? I don't know if you're able to hear much of what we were just discussing, but talking about this latest announcement on inflation, 10.1%. And it's a timely announcement when a lot of the papers speculating about what is going to happen to that Conservative Party flagship policy of the triple lock on pensions. Can pensioners expect to see them increase by 10.1%?
Well, that triple lock was a manifesto commitment, and obviously we take manifesto commitments very seriously, but it wouldn't be right for me to pre-announce or speculate about any of the things that the Chancellor might put in his statement in just over a week's time. And I know that will be deeply frustrating for the people that you've been talking to who are looking at those inflation figures, they are looking at those interest rate rises, and they are worried about them. And we completely get that. We want to give them certainty as soon as we can, but it wouldn't be right for me to, as I say, speculate about what the Chancellor might be saying next week.
Yeah, so these are really difficult choices that you're trying to sell to voters, that there will be spending cuts, that you can't increase pensions to make them affordable, that you can't increase benefits in line with inflation, and that essentially the manifesto that Liz Truss was elected on, that she's now governing like Rishi Sunak. I mean, this is just a mess of promises and priorities.
Well, the Prime Minister said in the interview that she gave earlier on this week that she recognised that some of the measures that were put forward by Kwasi Kwarteng that she and he had worked on did not have the effect that we wanted. The bond markets, the gilt markets were uncomfortable with them. That put pressure on our cost of borrowing, and that we have to respond to that. And she did, and she took tough and difficult, as you say, difficult actions that has calmed those bond yields down, which means that the long-term cost of borrowing is not as high as it might otherwise be. We want to continue bringing those down. That's why the Chancellor has made it clear that we will have to make difficult decisions. But these difficult decisions are the kind of decisions that mean that we can protect people from those energy price increases, that we can still have the confidence that the UK is an economically solid player on the world stage, and that we're able to deliver on our commitment to the Ukrainian people to try and bring this war to a conclusion, because that, off the back of the pandemic, has been a very large factor in some of these global problems, these food price increases that you talked about,
look, and we want
that are affecting us and other countries around the world.
Forgive me for interrupting, just because we're so tight on time. Look, we will talk about the war more in a moment, but I just want to pick up on the point you say. She recognises the error of many of the policies that were introduced in the mini-budget. But she took a long time to reach that conclusion. A lot of damage was done during that period. There are serious questions about her judgment, aren't there, about her credibility? And, you only have to look at the polls. You've got Conservative Party members, more than half of them, 59% with buyer's remorse. And the YouGov poll this morning putting Truss at minus 70% in popularity. I mean, Boris Johnson on his last day in office was only at minus 53. She's a political liability, isn't she?
Well, look, I think what the British people want, quite legitimately, is to see their government, to see their Prime Minister focusing on their concerns, on the issues that affect their everyday life. I think what we have seen over the last 6 months is the Conservative Party and the government spending a lot of time talking about itself. I don't think that doing that for even longer still is good news for the people that we are here to serve. What they want to see, and it's right that they want this, is for us to be relentlessly focused on the things that affect their lives. So all this talk, all this speculation, all this Westminster gossip is not doing for them what they need, which is for us to demonstrate that we're focused on their concerns. The Prime Minister, the Chancellor, me, the other members of government recognise that British people want to see us getting on with our job. That's what she's focused on, that's what I'm focused on, and that's what we're going to work on now.
People want to know whether or not they're going to have their energy bills supported by the government beyond April, don't they? I mean, you talk about wanting to recognise people's priorities. A lot of people see that as an uncertain reduction in the support being offered by the government.
Well, the the acute challenge of this winter is one that we have addressed. We are taking action to try and bring down those overall cost pressures as quickly as we can. We're looking at alternative sources of energy. We are looking at pan-European energy price caps, which will limit the overall cost. And we're looking at the best way of supporting the people that need our help the most. So there will be support. The support will be over a 2-year package. The immediate package will cover us for this winter, so people can get over what is going to be a globally tough few months ahead. But of course, we will look at how we support the people that need our help the most, whilst also addressing those global factors which have been pushing these prices up in the first place.